There's a lot of different things that go hand in hand, right, so to speak, when you're determining when to scale, when you're determining when to raise your ad budget, when you're determining to cut back. And overall, the main thing I wanted to walk you guys through is how to actually recognize when you have something on your hands and how to know when to scale and how to scale as well. Have my incredible student, Josh. Josh has been in e-commerce for quite some time now and was struggling with inconsistencies and has now found consistency in his business, and he's really working on scaling to the next level. First and foremost, Josh, over the last few weeks, you've developed large consistency in your business, right? You're doing over $1,000 a day with great margin, right? And you just found this product less than 20 days ago.
Before e-commerce, I was doing flipping Instagram accounts, growing Instagram meme accounts, and then it was my brother who got into e-com selling those cables. And I was like, yo, this sounds like a good idea. So in around June 2019, we started getting into e-com, and, we just learned from watching videos, courses, and mentorships. But, when I was doing e-com, I felt like I was missing some sort of proper system, and I had no actual experience on building a sustainable business. I really like the idea of building a brand and just having something something long-term,
Right. An asset that you own, right? And it sounds like you were excited to get involved with it, right? You knew there was potential there and you got started. You took courses and some mentors, whatever, but nothing really worked because you didn't have a real system in place there. So walk us through what it was like without a system and kind of walk us through where you're at now in terms of learning these systems and actually understanding the progress as you move forward without kind of throwing random stuff at the wall.
Like I said, I had a mentor, and he didn't even teach me product research. He just gave me a product. He's just choose between 5 products and just sell one of these. He didn't teach me on how to actually run a sustainable business. That's why most of the businesses I ran, they failed within maybe a month.
And one of the big things as well is when you find that consistency, right? And you actually have something that's working without systems that say it dies down, how are you supposed to go ahead and get it back up and running again, right?
Before I even joined BSF, it was just I was testing products. I was spending a lot of money. I was spending $300 per product, and I was taking forever to test it. And I just didn't really have a system because I just kept on changing and trying different people's strategies without really sticking to one thing. So I think that was a big reason why I wasn't seeing consistency until I joined BSF. And it was just oh, do this, do that for 20 products. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to stick to it and, only make the product a variable and just stick to their systems of, product research, landing page creation, all that stuff.
And ultimately, you're a very talented, smart person naturally, right? So when you pair someone like that with systems that are proven and work, it's never guaranteed, ever. Success is never guaranteed. But when you have systems and you're actually dedicated, you get a lot closer to making that something that will happen for sure, right? And it becomes not if it'll happen, more when it will happen, right? And that's ultimately what we saw here with you, Josh, is you got in the program, right? You were skeptical like everyone else, and you saw the systems, and you're like, wow, this is actually the next level piece. Wow, this is actually something that I needed to get to that next stage of my business. And wow, I'll actually be able to maintain and manage my consistency and scale thereafter without having to turn off the business. So having those systems was huge for you, and I'm really happy you brought that up as well. So when you first started to see the BSF systems, like the product research, the algorithmic targeting, the landing page, right, the launching, the scaling, the farm system, the micro, the macro, the CBOs, all of the systems that we have here, were you overwhelmed at first? It seemed like a lot. Walk us through what your initial thoughts were when you saw these systems in place, and kind of touch on each one of them if you could as well.
Yeah, so when I first joined, I saw the first mastermind that was 4 hours. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I was like, this is nothing I've ever seen. And unlike all the courses you buy, I like how the BSF is A to Z. It's really all inclusive. They teach you from step 1 to all the way to step 10. And not gonna lie, it was really hard in the beginning. To adapt to, especially the landing page.
We're sorry that it's so strict, but that's how we make the product a variable. You know what I mean? So we got to be strict on every little thing. So the only possible thing that could be messing up and not working is the product,
Yeah, I love that. I'm at now landing page after all those audits and, thanks to Arvin and the team, it's so much better. And I feel a lot more confident in my marketing because of that,
And that's exactly why we do what we do, is for that reason alone. Not only, Josh, are you building a business that right now is on track to do $500,000 in the first year. We're not even scaled yet. We didn't even touch Micro Big Bang yet. But you also have these skills where you can walk into a mom and pop restaurant or any store and get them on retainer to do their marketing for them because you know these systems, right? So you're not only making yourself worth more as a person and as a marketer, as an entrepreneur to businesses, but you're building a business while you do it, which is absolutely epic. So Josh, walk us through where you're at now. So when did you launch this product? How many days ago? And what are the numbers like? And what are the margins like as well?
Yeah, so this product I started at the 2nd of this month. Yeah.
And 19 days later, you've sold over 350 units. And what are you doing daily revenue? What's total revenue?
Yeah, daily revenue was around like 1K a day. We were sitting at 1K a day.
And how's the margin on that?
With like 20% margins.
Got it. So 1K a day, 20% margins. So we're at, we should be around $20,000 in the last 19 days. Josh, you've only launched step 1 of the farm system. Is that correct?
Yep. No micro big bang, no nothing.
No micro big bang, no macro big bang, no CBO, no ABO scales, no dissection. Only thing running is our algorithmic targeting 2.0. So Josh, walk us through why we're not just blowing this up to 10K days right away. What are we doing in the meantime to make sure that we are not imploding the store, screwing our processing, or screwing our accounts?
Yeah, right now we're just working with like the agent, making sure we have our logistics, just place the bulk order, making sure our customers don't have that extra delay of every time having to wait for the money to receive and all that stuff. And also making sure that the product is up to par. There's just some stuff that we want to work on, for the customer's experience in general.
100%. So Josh, I guess we're saying that profitability and consistency is better than revenue and just big scale for no reason, right? And that's one of the major things. Don't let any coaches or mentors or whatever tell you the best idea is to scale to the moon right away. In reality, they're probably just looking for a screenshot to utilize, right? When in reality, we care about you actually getting consistency in your business and slowly but surely ensuring you have predictability within it, right? We don't care about huge scale right away. We care about building a brand. So we're getting our supply chain proper and making sure we have units in-house.
Justin's so right on about like not just scaling the product. Like that happened to me where, I scaled up to 3K a day. And then, after like a month or something, like that low feedback score, product quality sucked, tons of complaints, tons of refunds, page restricted. You don't want to deal with all that. It's just, it just wasn't worth it. And it's just, I should have taken the longer route and just, did what Justin said just recently.
So essentially, walk us through like when you first launched Algorithmic, what did it look like? Did you get good results instantly? And did you know it was a winner by day 1? Or did you have to follow the 3-day rule to kind of see what worked and what didn't?
So just like Justin mentions, he talks about winning metrics and stuff to look out for. When you have a winner, and my product just hit like every check mark, tons of likes, great KPIs from the beginning, profitability from the start. So it wasn't really like 3-day rule. It's just like, follow his duplication method, just follow his scaling strategy. And it's just like, just from day 1, I was like, okay, I think I have something on my hand.
As we started to get sales on these algorithmic targeting campaigns, what did you do following that? So you said the duplication rule. Walk us through what that looks like.
Yeah, so first day, got around 4 sales, and I duplicated like 3 of them, and then it just skyrocketed from there. Second day, 12 sales, and then I was just like, okay, I gotta actually be careful because if I scale too fast, it's dangerous.
Walk us through, how did you monitor all those duplications? Didn't it become a lot to look after? Wasn't it like a big mess? How'd you do that?
Yeah, so I have Shopify right now, and I've been using UTM in Google Analytics, and it's just actually it wasn't too bad just because how consistent and profitable it was. So I wasn't really turning off much assets, but I was just following the BS system, and soon I'm actually going to switch over to Commonly and try that out.
Now walk us through what your next step is. Walk the people through what that micro big bang will look like and what your plan is to scale this thing even further, because you've been raking in cash every single day profitably, crazy ROAS, only on step 1. Things are probably going to get very, very, very big in large scale over the next few weeks. Walk us through what your plans are and how you expect to go ahead and scale even further.
Yeah, so right now, since we're waiting for the bulk order, once we launch Micro Big Bang, it's going to be like 115 ad sets at around like $1.50. So that's going to be like huge. So once we have the supply chain down, we're going to launch Micro Big Bang, hopefully scale it up, and then just see where it goes.
That's the benefit of having systems. You just know what's next, right? And we're still by your side. We're still here with you every single step of the way, but you're so self-capable now because you're intelligent and you follow the systems, and it's very, very chronological with what needs to happen, right? And that's the beauty of having these systems at the end of the day. It's not that, we have some magic potion. It's that we're here for you. We're supporting you. We're looking at every little thing you do before you spend a single cent and making sure you're doing it the right way. And when you're someone who has as much ambition and drive and consistency as Josh here, he's able to go ahead and build a business quite quickly. Give us some tips that you use in your own daily workflow that you've used to kind of build this business and ultimately stay hungry and stay consistent. Because as you know, this is not easy and it's not built in one day, but you make it seem so effortlessly. So I'd love you to go ahead and kind of share some insights to the people on as to how you work day to day, because a lot of people here want to get to where you're sitting right now, my friend. And you should be very proud of where you're at. And we'd love to hear exactly what you got going on behind the scenes, behind your brand.
So yeah, even one thing like Ivan really mentions that I really like is, just creating a schedule and just sticking to it. I like pretty much right now, all I'm doing is like e-commerce, and I just, make that my focus. Really no days off, like Justin Will said, like honestly every day, at least, even if you don't feel like it, just a little bit, just work a little bit, and just really focusing on the tasks that you have, the needle movers that will make the big changes. Like when I was doing the 2020 product research, it was, oh, I have to get like 2 landing pages done today. It's just creating the task and just making sure you stick to it and just do it and just really see it through.
Let's talk about some of like the downfalls and the hardships before you actually got up into this point, right? Like you've tested a product, it hasn't worked, right? Walk us through, how do you get back up after you test a product and it doesn't work? How do you get back up and keep moving?
This wasn't my first, it wasn't my first product, it wasn't my first product in the system that did well, but I just kept at it, and knowing that, I have a proven system and it's just a product. It's just a product that's variable, trusting in Justin Wool and the BSF team, knowing that, that they know what they're talking about and just being really focused on, okay, it's not the current results, but, it's like what's going to happen in the future. If I just stick to it, what could happen?
No, you're right. And that's a very, very humbling perspective to have as well, because something is incredible on the way, but you don't know what it is, but you're just down for the ride and down to keep going and down to keep moving, right? The journey is all about the progress, right? A lot of people honestly, people think like the end result, like becoming a millionaire, becoming, successful, financially free is the best part. For me, it's the journey that I enjoyed the most, right? I enjoyed the journey, and I still enjoy the journey because we're still moving every single day. So never get caught up in the end result, right? The key thing in life is just making sure that you keep moving on your journey and you don't really become too overzealous of the result, right? You focus on the journey, keeping moving forward, and you stay focused on the journey and not so much on the result. You keep moving, keep consistent, and then before your eyes, you'll achieve what you've always wanted to, right? And that's ultimately what life is. Life is consistency. Life is moving forward, and life is just not stopping, right? And especially if you're a business guy like us, you want to become successful, become a name in the game. You can't stop moving, right? You got to keep going forward and never take your foot off the gas. Maybe you can let up a little bit to catch some breath, but the gas is always down a little bit. Then you pin her, to go ahead and keep moving forward when you start to see some traction, right? And at the point that you're at right now, Josh, this is exactly when the gas pedals like this, it now needs to be floored and you never stop flooring it, right? Keep that baby floored and let's keep moving forward, man.
What I would really say is, just like how BSF has, laid out A to Z system, you just got to find a system that works for you and you really stick to it, like it's going to take time and you're going to have to know that it's going to be, it's going to be discouraging and you're going to doubt yourself. But if you just focus on like the framework and the systems that you're provided and you really stick to it, I feel like big things are going to happen regardless.
Having that mindset as if you already made it, right, is really comforting as well, because that's one of the main things. You have to know that yourself. You have to become that person yourself, right? Before your bank account has the million, before you start to have millions of dollars of stores, right? You have to go ahead and become that person yourself, and that's how you get to that point, right? It doesn't come the other way around. And with that being said, Josh, phenomenal session here today, man. So happy that you were able to hop on with us and give some value. And this should show everyone watching right now that it's not impossible. It does take consistency. It takes grit, and it takes a real system, a real coach, and a real program, and a real mentor to help you out. And not a lot of this fugazi shit that you'll find on the internet. Okay, do your research, do your homework, and work with people who actually care about you and want to see you win. We don't go above and beyond for no reason. We go above and beyond because when we want to see you win, we want to see you develop consistency. We want to see you build a business, right? And that's ultimately why BSF has the most consistent results in the game right now. It's because we do things right. And, we're not operating a 2-week pump and dump like a lot of these other guys will have you do.